City Boy issue 3, Greg Pak rating with Minkayu Young on the art. So this is, bizarrely for a 6-issue mini, I wasn't expecting it to feel like it sort of ended an arc in issue 3, but it kind of felt like it did in a weird way. Which, fair enough. If it's 2 3-issue arcs, it's 2 3-issue arcs. So last issue ended with him running into Superman, right? That was the cliffhanger. So a lot of this is Superman sort of trying to help him and encourage him to talk to the city, because the city starts expanding, literally, and it's continuing. And there's this concrete dragon that's been created that he's not controlling anymore. And the guys that are working for Intergang are like, "Haha, it started." And when City Boy's like, "Hey, I saw this vision of the city taking over the whole planet, and there were pits of fire," and that makes Superman be like, "Wait a minute, pits of fire, you say?
Like apocalypse?
Yeah.
That's not good. We got to stop this."
Yeah, and the Intergang guy's like, "Yeah, now you get it, Superman, but it's too late." But luckily, City Boy, the whole story of this issue is him getting it under control, and it's all tied to his emotions and his past, because he sees. Effectively, we see, because Metropolis is where he was abandoned by his mother, we see kind of that memory play out.
That trauma that is, formed at who he is.
Yeah, it effectively plays out like a sort of memory playing as a ghost, but obviously it's not literally a ghost. We know that he sees things that have happened because the city remembers, so it's kind of like it's, it's like he's seen a video playback of it via the city's, data, if that makes any sense.
And so I like there's a part here that Superman tells him, I know you can communicate, but you can't control. But you have to know, Metropolis loves us as much as we love Metropolis. And I love that that's Superman's wisdom that he grants on here. Is the city's not just glass and concrete, it's the people. And if you can make that connection to this, Metropolis dragon, we can get it back. If we remind Metropolis that the people are it and it's the people.
I also like that when Superman he tries to talk to the concrete dragon. He's like, "Oh, you're Metropolis. I'm going to talk to Metropolis because I love this city." And he tries to appeal to it, and it doesn't work. The dragon just screams at him,
takes off.
But yeah, it's this idea that he had a chance to talk to Metropolis like it was a living thing, but it's like, no, only City Boy can do that, basically. So, so that kind of becomes what it is, and Superman's encouraging him to tap in and sort of deal with his past and things like that. So yeah, his name's Cameron, which I don't think I knew before this issue.
I forgot. Yeah. But so I've been, since we read the Lazarus Planet stuff, I was wondering when when we first met him in Gotham, he had that little trash rat. It was a rat made out of trash. That represented Gotham. I was wondering when we were going to see something like that again, or if because Metropolis is this big city, you're going to have this glass and concrete dragon rolling around, right? So I'm glad that, we got to see something like that come back here.
Yeah, although the size isn't that important in the sense that because it shrinks, when he gets control of his emotions, the size of the dragon shrinks down to probably about the same size of that rat, honestly. It's about that size. Right. But there's that great full page where they go chasing after the dragon, and it's on those steps where his mother abandoned him, and you get Superman standing behind him, you get the dragon head coming in the other side, and you see the sort of the blue ghost-like images of the flashback in the middle, and it's this just great full page spread. I think I liked issue 1 quite a bit. I thought issue 2 was a little bit messier but still fun. I think this issue is where it felt like it kind of came together to me. I kind of get what it's doing a lot better this issue.
Yeah, and just the idea of, he just doesn't communicate with the city. He also projects how he feels into that communication. And I really like that because it really adds layers to this kid. It's not just because I was wondering how he's any different than the city guy that we met in Ram V Swamp Thing, right? How he can talk to cities. And here, because of the new gods of it all, he leaves his imprint as much as the city leaves its imprint on him. So I like that it's a two-way.
And there's that great scene. So after they see the memory on the steps, the mum gets in the taxi and starts driving away. And this is the flashback taxi. This isn't really there. But City Boy and the dragon basically fly after the car. And what's interesting is that when they cross the bridge and they cross the Welcome to Metropolis sign, so they've effectively left the city, the car just disappears. Which is very interesting to me how this works in that. Do his powers only work when something's actually a city? Like, is a small town not also... Because there's still a place outside of Metropolis. Once you've left Metropolis, you're still at somewhere. It's not like a vacuum. So I wonder, like, if we're going to get, like, more of a clarification in time of, like, is it about size? Is it about population? Is it just a sense of, like, history where enough people have lived here over the years that all of that energy kind of builds up to create a life form almost kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, what is the... Yeah,
that could be, because I wonder, because I know it's teasing Bloodhaven next, right? And how that's going to be, but you got somewhere like Keystone and Central City, like, right? Like, where does one city begin and one end there because of the Twin Cities?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. So because there are cities that are right next to each other, like, is it the kind of thing where it's not so much that the area outside the city is like a dead zone, it's more just that right now he's like synced up with Metropolis, and he'd have to leave and sync up with the new area, whatever it is, so presumably the same thing would happen with Central City and Keystone, where let's say he's in Central, he's following a memory through Central, but it drives into Keystone. It would presumably still disappear because he'd have to go to Keystone, then form a connection, and then pick up the memory where it left off on that side. Maybe that's how it works. But either way, like, I'm curious if there's going to be more sort of added to this.
There's a lot of potential here for storytelling that way, Yeah,
it's interesting.
Of what it means, like what you're saying. What's the difference between a city and a town? Right? Like, is it the people? Is it the memories? Is it the energy of the people that have moved through there?
Yeah.
Right?
Does it only work through cities because the sheer mass of people and energy?
Right.
Or does it work in a village with, like, 25 people? Has that still got the same effect? Can you still talk to that, Or
like what would, like, Tokyo, which is like 9 cities in one megaplex, how would that play out? Right? Because there's so many more people. Like, how overwhelming would that be? So I like that Pock's playing with some interesting ideas and potential through this character.
Yeah. And then the next couple of pages are just silent as he flies back to the steps.
Yep.
And Superman says he's going to go help, everyone, pick up all this debris, because the dragon caused a bit of destruction, of course, as it was flying around. And Superman, he's trying to help him because City Boy talks about how all he sees, because Superman says everyone's trying their best, and City Boy's like, no, they're not. I see, like, all the memories of the city. I see people being bad. I see people everywhere, mugging people, being hit by cars. We see, like, some of these things happening in front of him in the Blue Ghost form. And it's like, okay, so he takes him away from the noise. And I like how Superman kind of relates to this in a weird way, because it's kind of like his super hearing, so he kind of understands, okay, you can't turn this off. Let's go up high. Let's go up to the top of a skyscraper where we're away from the streets and we can have a conversation. So... Yeah. I like that. I like using Superman to do that, and obviously Pac knows Superman well. He's written them before.
Yep.
So, ultimately, Superman goes off to help everyone, and City Boy leaves, and he does help a little bit, though. I forgot about this moment, actually, now I'm looking at it again. There's a car stuck in the road, because the road's kind of, like, split apart, and he seemingly uses his powers to, like, reform the road and get the car back sort of up again. So he does help some people, but from the shadows. He's not Superman. He's not going out and doing the PR.
The Superman,
So he threatens the guys that work for the gangster that were threatening everyone in the first issue, and basically says, "I'll come and eat you with my dragon if you don't stop harassing people." And the book ends with him going to Bloodhaven, which seemingly, much like I was saying earlier, seems to be maybe where the memory picks off. In fact, actually, no, that entire debate we just had, now that I'm looking at this last page, I don't think I caught this the first time I read it. It seems to be that he's now going in the direction that car went in, so maybe he's doing exactly what we said, where he's he's gone over the line, and he's just going to follow, like, pick up the memory where it left off in this second location, and seemingly... I assume the car went to Bloodhaven, and that's why he's going to Bloodhaven. He's tracking where his mother went.
Searching for Mom,
Okay. So the answer was actually kind of there. We just didn't...
we just forgot.
Okay, that's interesting. That said, though, the car still disappears here in this panel on the last page, so maybe some of the stuff we were debating still may apply. I'm not sure.
Maybe he has to talk to Bloodhaven, and Bloodhaven's not as giving as Metropolis, right? Because of the history of Bloodhaven. You know, it was this port for pirates, and you know, it led to all the gambling and all this stuff. So maybe Bloodhaven doesn't want to share the information with him like Metropolis did. You know.
Oh, here's the question. Maybe does he just know it's going to Bloodhaven because the car said that or something? I'm just checking. No, there's nothing on the car.
I don't remember.
No. Oh well. Either way though, it's all very interesting.
It is. It's you know, it's very Jack Kirby in that way too, where it's playing with these big ideas through superheroes. You know, but the whole idea of cities and you know, and then we even get the New Gods in that era.
Yeah, just a touch. Like they're just kind of, you know, just a little smidge of them. That's all.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely, it feels like it's a DC type vibe too. It doesn't have like, because for me, stuff that feels like DC that plays with the history and stuff, this definitely is leaning onto that. So I enjoyed seeing Intergang show up. It's like, and now, so now what are we going to do with Bloodhaven? You know, how deep is Pac going to pull from?
I think what's interesting here is that it is, you know, we were introduced to this character in Gotham in the Lazarus Planet stuff. We've now seen him in Metropolis. And then we're going to Bloodhaven next. I think it is actually quite interesting that we're utilizing the fact that DC has a lot of famous cities that we can use and sort of explore them this way through this character. I think the power set is very unique, but also just being able to use them this way is also kind of cool. It makes him stand out as a, you know, a more, you know, just individual character. So, no, I think the concept with this issue has really come together in a way that, I mean, I liked everything before, but it feels like it's really starting to click into place now, and I see what we can do with it. And he's got more of a goal and a direction now because he's trying to find where his mother went. So it's like, okay, he's going to use his way of seeing these memories through the city to track down where she went all those years ago. And it'll probably lead to where she is now if she's alive or if, you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So, very interesting. What are you giving City Boy issue 3?
I'm going to listen 8.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think I agree. Good stuff.